Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Th000 versus WFZ. Th000 spawning as, well, the red orc player. I don't know if he, I guess I could check if he was random. Let me check if it was random. Okay, it's random. Alright, so Th000 versus WFZ. He did choose random, and getting orc, not like he purposely chose orc in this particular matchup, knowing that, well, going up against undead, human versus undead, is a little bit difficult at times. Anyways, let's break things down in this 1v1 matchup. Terranistan, WFZ or WFZ spotting as the blue undead player over here on the top left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the bottom right, we have Th000 opening up with Altar of Storms, Burrow, and that barracks. Building position a little bit questionable. We'll see how all of this is going to transition, or what this is going to transition to later. Farseer, quick expand or quick tech to tier 2, not very likely. By the way, I usually cast on YouTube because I'm not often up early enough following from San Diego. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I know it's often very early for anyone to be watching Twitch at 6:30 in the morning. Thank you, low and high. Great and highly appreciate you just coming in and watching. Always nice to have some other people to enjoy the stream as well. What part of San Diego? I'm from the PQ area. Went to school in Poway Unified School District. So. But that was many years ago. Anyways, Peon gonna go ahead and do a little bit of Fallbrook. All right. Peon gonna go ahead and set up position here. It looks like it is gonna be a lightning shield strategy coming back around. Farsi are gonna be getting up into position. I was captain of the rest of the team in Vista. Wrestled against Poway a lot. Yeah. Yep. Do remember thinking back to my high school years, and wow, that does seem like forever ago. But my high school had its 20th high school reunion. So, yep, if I didn't feel old before, I do feel old now. Lightning Shield quickly cast on that Farseer. It is going to go ahead and, well, deal massive damage across all of these units, as that Lightning Shield is rather effective here. All right, another Lightning Shield getting added onto that Forest Troll Shadow Priest. Is that going to prevent the Farseer from getting experience? And yes, it does. Or was it actually given to the Death Knight? That is the bigger question here. No, the Death Knight got the kill from the Acolyte. All right, Acolyte getting the kill from the right there. There's a Lightning Shield, and wow, WFZ coming in with major harassment, coming back across. There goes a Death Coil, and there goes that Forest Troll Shadow Priest as the Death Knight now chases that Farseer off here. Death Knight getting close to level 2 already, can finish off a couple of Spirit Wolves to get there. Meanwhile, the Farseer has picked up the Potion of Invulnerability, quickly sells it for the gold though, to pick up a Scroll of Speed and another Healing Salve. All right, coming back around here, we're looking at, well, the Death Knight still trying to chase after that Farseer. Farseer a little bit faster, as that Death Knight does not have Unholy Aura to try and, well, catch up and make up on that distance. Meanwhile, Spirit Wolves are going after the Apprentice Wizard here. Oh, looks like it was about to finish off the Apprentice Wizard and give level 2 to the Farseer, but the timed life just slipped away. Farseer now back up to full hit points, doesn't have to worry all too much. Text to tier 2, already halfway for the undead and almost halfway for the orc. Death Knight, what he's going to do next, he does have Staff of Teleportation, will be able to retreat home pretty quickly, finishing off that Apprentice Wizard. A couple of easy shots right there, will get to level 2 and then get some chain lightning action going. Death Knight coming back around, skeletal minions back out onto the field. Farseer quickly sells another item, I think it was a Cloak of Shadows, as the skeletal minions trying to squeeze that Farseer again. Meanwhile, we are looking at a lot of Staff of Teleportation coming across. Death Knight looking to get in a little bit more of that experience. There's a Death Coil steal and backing away after the majority of the damage was done by those grunts and coming back across. Meanwhile, so far though, Skeletal Minion is going to be coming back in again. That Staff of Teleportation allowing him to just jump to his Crypt Fiend and get in front of, well, that Farseer right there. Meanwhile, Farseer is still wandering around trying to go after that Rogue Wizard, mainly for the item, as it does drop a decent size item, and the Death Knight is here to just rain on the parade again. Chain Lightning ensuring the experience once more. Meanwhile, Death Knight allowing all of his units to back away. What item was picked up? Circlet of Nobility. The perfect item drop right there. +6 to all the stats. A very powerful item indeed, as the skeletal minions and the remaining units are now trying to back away. Alright, units trying to back up once more. Death Knight gonna go ahead and engage. We'll see where all of these units are going to go. Farseer are going to try and continue to put in all of that pressure as that Death Knight now runs back off to the north. Alright, so far, Farseer slipping its way back down to the south here. Death Knight now heading around to the sides as well. Part of me still wondering how Slippers of Agility or the Circle of Nobility is such a powerful item. Getting +2 to every single stat it is almost like leveling up your hero most of the time, as 6 stats is equivalent to about 1 hero level. Farseer coming back down to the south here. We're looking at Kobold Tunneler and all of these Kobolds. Those will get finished off pretty fast. Death Knight, well, looking to get some additional experience as well. Circlet Imba should be a level 3 item. That was my thought as well. It feels like it should get pushed up a little bit. I mean, if a player gets 3 Circlets of Nobility, it's essentially the same as getting Boots of Quel'Thalas, Robe of Magi, and a Belt of Giant Strength, and all of those items. You know, it takes up 3 item slots. All of 3 of those items are much, much higher on the entire drop pool. Just a thought there. And I think Xanadorn, you can probably tell me, the Talisman of Evasion and Ring of Protection +4 are in the same drop table, correct? Even though Ring of Protection +4 it actually gives more effective hit points than the Talisman of Evasion. Yeah, I think that's the case. So if you see the Talisman of Evasion, you might actually think, you know what, it might have actually been better to get Ring of Protection +4 in terms of overall effective hit points. Anyways, Death Knight going after the Forest Troll Berserkers here. Crypt Fiends are all in position. Going to go ahead and finish off these Forest Troll Berserkers and pick up some additional items as well. Alright, Spirit Wolf's going to come in and perhaps get in some critical strikes onto some of those Crypt Fiends. Crypt Fiends taking a little bit of damage, and we should be looking at a Death Coil coming in across as well. There's the Death Coil just in time, as the Obsidian Statue trying to provide a little bit more hit points too. Crypt Lord is that second hero. Spirit Wolf's trying to get in position. One more attack, one more follow-up kill should take it down, as that, well, Crypt Fiend is now back on Blight. Is it going to be able to get there? No, it is not. The Cold Tower was not in time here, as a second Crypt Fiend will be lost as well. Alright, WFZ now down to 33 supply compared to 37. Needs to train up some more Crypt Fiends and Obsidian Statues, fighting on Blight inside here, as the Raiders are now in full retreat. Meanwhile, back down to the south, the Beetles are just swarming this party here, trying to prevent an expansion from being established. Is curious to see Crypt Lord second, and then still go Beetles though, as the Beetles are good and effective at trying to deal with your opponent's expansion. Coming back off to the north here, Tauren Chieftain, well, with double Rings of Protection and a Talisman of Evasion, that's one way to get very large amount of effective hit points. Each of those, giving 18% more effective hit points overall, as we're looking at the Sasquatch now trying to pull back again. Alright, units continuing to dance back and forth once more. Well, Beetles making their way back down to the south. There goes a little bit of extra damage again, as the Forest Trolls, well, gonna be doing a little bit of, well, attacking back and forth. Alright, the creeps stuck between 2 armies, as the Tauren Chieftain still only has Endurance or no Stomp as of yet. Crypt Lord does have access to Impale now, but is currently low on mana, as we see the Lich of WFZ join in on the fight. We are only looking at tier 2 coming in from Th000. Meanwhile, WFZ is sitting at tier 3. No surprise there. Has the Lich, doesn't have an Orb of... Oh no, does have an Orb of Corruption. Just isn't showing up on that Lich just quite yet. Units now making their way down to the south here. Tauren Chieftain wants to get to level 2. Again, to try to get in position here, but it may end up getting creepjacked as the Lich is just right around the corner. This can go from bad to worse here in just a moment, as the units do need to back off. All right, Tauren Chieftain going to get in position. Are we seeing some destroyers? Yes, we are. Tauren Chieftain going to try and stomp onto some of those bugs, and does do exactly that, as we hear Shamans joining in on the fight. There's a quick dust of appearance as some of those units are trying to back away. Meanwhile, Frost Nova onto a Grunt. It looks like the Grunt is going to be able to, down to 36 hit points. No. Death Coil unable to outrun that Death Coil as it makes up the distance. All right. Couple of easy units taken out there once more. We're looking at the Tauren Chieftain, and now also being coupled with Wind Riders. Wind Riders, an effective attacker. We do see some Witch Doctors placing down, well, Watcher Wards all across the map for map insight. Meanwhile, down to the south here, this Orc Burrow looks like it will get taken down in no time flat. Heavy armor, not fortified, as the Crypt Fiends and the Destroyers will make short work of that building here. All right, what do you do if you are up a base? Well, if you trade your expansion for your opponent's main base, that is still advantage you, as the Wind Riders should be going after perhaps some of those ghouls and some of those acolytes. Scroll of Town Portal now coming back across here. We're looking at the Beetles transitioning over, and they're going to be able to stay behind and continue to harass as the Tauren Chieftain now tries to escape. Cold Tower slowing down that Raider, but the Raider's still able to shake it off just enough and gets a healing salve once more. Beetles continuing to cause problems. Shaman could be trying to come across. There is another Purge once again trying to finish off some of those Beetles, as we see a Wind Rider overhead providing a little bit of support as well. One Shaman purposely positioning itself in a way where it cannot get attacked by multiple units easily, as the Shamans are just finishing off the remainder of these Beetles again. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 2, 8 armor, Talisman of Evasion. Tauren Chieftain, Wind Riders still wandering about. As we're looking at WFZ setting up an expansion of his own, getting that expansion is going to be incredibly important. He cannot allow his opponent to be up on additional bases. We are still sitting at tier 2 though, coming in from the Orc player, as the WFZ with that additional hero. And once that Lich gets to level 3, that Impale and that Frost Nova will be able to deal large amounts of damage and mitigate a lot of damage with stuns and attack slows. Raiders are going to be incredibly important at trying to pick off any of those fleeing units, as the Crypt Fiends and the Death Knight still wandering back and forth. WFZ cautiously holding at 50 supply so that he doesn't fall behind too much economically, still getting 10 gold a second compared to his opponent's 14 gold a second, who is in low upkeep. Farseer gets up to level 4. Tauren Chieftain quite a ways away from level 3 so far. Gonna pick up a Potion of Greater Healing though, a powerful item indeed, as the Crypt Lord and Death Knight now making its way back down to the south. Alright, one Witch Doctor wandering Terranistan, placing down sentry wards anywhere he wants to try and get a little bit of, well, scouting information on his opponent. Carrion Beetle will easily get taken down right there. Down it goes, as we're looking at the Tauren Chieftain still trying to get to level 3. Necropolis is coming into position here. Acolytes will be trained up in just a moment, as, well, Wind Riders are going to be incredibly important in that next fight to try and deal with those destroyers. The problem will be the Crypt Fiends, as the Crypt Fiends are going to, well, web down those Wind Riders and try and shut them down themselves. Tome of Knowledge being left behind here. Goblin Shredder also getting hired up. Goblin Zeppelin and Wind Riders, and this is going to be a full-on air raid into the undead base. All right, let's take a look here. Ghouls going to try and escape. It is going to end up getting taken down, as the units are all dropping down into position already. Where are they going to land? There they are, right there, as the units are going to impale and will pick up some of them too. All right, Wind Riders, Scroll of Town Portal already being used, as we saw a big Frost Nova melt or freeze that Raider in place. All right, a little bit of a quick exchange right there. Level 3 on the Tauren Chieftain, level 4 on the Farseer. Goblin Shredder, where did it go? Did it actually head back home to try and harvest lumber? Did it join on the army? Or did it end up getting taken out? I lost track of it. Oh, there's the Goblin Shredder. gonna go ahead and just cut down all of these trees off over here. Beetles trying to make their way through, not going to get very far. There is the Renegade Wizard Creep Camp dropping another powerful consumable item, most likely. We'll see what that will be here, as the Tauren Chieftain could just throw down a stomp, has plenty of mana already, but no, just going to go ahead and save that precious mana and take a little bit of damage instead. A second potion, or a potion of invulnerability now on that Tauren Chieftain. That Tauren Chieftain with plenty of survivability items should be able to dive into the Crypt Fiend line and then place down those stomps. That is going to be incredibly important, using that potion of invulnerability first to get into position, shaking off any Frost Nova or Impales, and then being able to line up that stomp indeed. Tauren Chieftain also has close to, what is that? That's already 11 armor. Who picked up that Tome of Agility? Not quite sure. Tauren Chieftain, that armor number did not go up. Normally it would, but well, we'll have to see what happens when it levels up to level 4. Beetle's gonna easily destroy this Voodoo Lounge here. It is the level 2 variety, going for level 2 Beetles and still having all of this harassment here. Spirit Wolves trying to return the favor, going after these Acolytes. The Acolytes could end up getting taken out, as the Death Knight and the Destroyer are going to be able to easily devour magic here as the Acolytes try to transition away. Tauren Chieftain does get to level 4 here. Looks like the armor, or the Tome of Agility, went to the Farseer, as a Tome of Strength now picked up by the Farseer as well. Farseer apparently likes to read more books. Tauren Chieftain doesn't want to read up on how to work out. As we tech to tier 3, what are those options? Tho at this point has invested a lot in Wind Riders, and Wind Riders, I have always felt, artificially inflates the orc supply. Wind Riders, really, with the amount of hit points that they have, should really be a 3 supply unit, not quite a 4. I wouldn't put it on par with a Griffin in any day, and it is more similar to a Dragonhawk Rider. So it is 79 supply compared to 80. Oh, thank you for the raid, and thank you for the sub. Didn't even see any of those. Normally, that's all posted for me. Thank you for the raid and the sub. Yeah, greatly appreciated. 1 Wind Riders now currently out and about. That is a large number of Wind Riders, and yeah, I don't know. I just don't like Wind Riders at being 4 supply. I think having them at 3 makes a lot more sense. Also with the experience that they do give. Anyways, units are going to be making a rounds out. If WFZ easily wins out in this upcoming battle, I think it is going to be because well, even though there is a 10 supply lead for Tho, these Wind Riders are just a little bit higher on their overall supply than they probably should be. Actually adding a single Kodo Beast here would help tremendously, as we see a couple of burrowed carrion beetles quickly taken out, giving bonus experience, and now a tiny Great Hall getting added in as well. Alright, we are looking at 3 bases going up against 2 main bases. Should be, well, almost done mining in about, what, 3 or 4 more minutes. As a Kodo Beast, wow, the Kodo Beast getting caught in mid-transit. This is not what you want to see. And those burrowed Crypt Fiends doing a great job keeping track of a couple, or not burrowed Crypt Fiends, burrowed Beetles doing a great job, as we see almost 10 supply of units getting lost right there. There goes that, well, that Shaman once more. 8 supply taken out. And, well, down to 72 supply. WFZ able to catch his opponent off guard, as a couple more Spirit Wolves are going to try and dive on in and try and take down these Acolytes. Alright, fortified Orc Burrows will be placed down, and also a fortified tower going to be coming into position. We are looking at sentry wards placed down as well, as that Shade will be able to spot them with no trouble at all. Tauren Chieftain has Scroll of Healing, Potion of Invulnerability, and Potion of Greater Healing, Scroll of Healing, and Potion of Invulnerability. Nice items indeed. Farseer also with the Scroll of Healing, so there's plenty of ways to keep all of these units alive. I don't see Spirit Link to try and spread out all of that damage, though, as we are going into Bloodlusted Wind Riders. Alright, Bloodlusted Wind Riders with fast attack speed. Tauren Chieftain sitting with level 2 Endurance Aura, as more Shaman are getting added in. All right, is Bloodlusted Wind Riders going to be enough to take down all of these Crypt Fiends here? I don't know if they even have Envenom Spears either. Kodobi is going to be adding in extra bonus damage as well. So they're going to attack faster, move faster, and, well, and hit harder. And that is going to be big damage indeed. Wind Riders having average attack speed just because of that endurance aura here, as more and more Bloodlust getting added in. However, Bloodlust on a Wind Rider won't seem to last very long. I imagine the destroyers will be able to devour magic that pretty quickly, as we're looking at anti-magic shield being cast down across all of the orc or all of the undead units. Unbeknownst to him though, the orc doesn't really have that much magic damage. All right, in comes a stomp. All right, it does stop them in their tracks, but they don't take the damage, as we see the Wind Riders are just trying to poke through, and all of a sudden WFZ was just absolutely in shock, going, what is this? Bloodlusted Wind Riders with so much piercing damage. Impale not going to be that effective either, as we see the Wind Riders just going after all of those units. Tauren Chieftain now out of mana. Potion of Invulnerability was already used, perhaps, as we're still looking at all of this engagement here. Wind Riders trying to deal damage. 87 supply compared to 75. There goes a massive Impale across multiple units as the Crypt Lord does line it up. Tauren Chieftain does have a good amount of damage, though. Death Knight did get a Death Coil off onto that Crypt Lord. But, well, so much damage here, still pushing through across all of these units as the Chain Lightning still bouncing around still. Death Knight could be in a lot of trouble. There is a Stomp. There's a Hex as the Shadow Hunter shows up out onto the field. And the Tauren Chieftain now sitting at level 5. Level 5 Tauren Chieftain. Are we going to get up another Stomp? No, we are not. A Scroll of Town Portal getting all of these units to retreat back. And though, all right, hats off to him, coming up with the unorthodox strategy. We saw anti-magic shell being cast across all of those units, and all the anti-magic shell really did was prevented the damage from the Tauren Chieftain. We still saw the stomps stun those units, and that was an absolutely crazy battle. One of those situations where, well, Th000 thought about his positioning, fighting in this narrow position, and then allowing himself to have access to air units so that more of his units were attacking at the same time. All right, Witch Doctors are out with mastery training as well. This is going to be well, a healing ward for all of these Wind Riders, as the Wind Riders dealing a lot of damage. We do see Curse, though, across these Wind Riders, so they are going to be missing their targets pretty soon. The loyalty... Hey, Spiral, how you doing? Long lost son. All right, Tauren Chieftain, Farseer. Well, what? Todd has Joker. I have Metaphysics. Tauren Chieftain, Farseer now making their rounds off to the side here. Wind Riders getting in some damage here. We see some Spirit Towers and some Nerubian Towers off on the back, as well as we are looking at the Shadow Wolves causing a bit of problems. But there are, well, Shades in position to keep track and keep sight of everything that's going on. Expansion already being placed down here. We might see some peons rotating off to the north, and with Th000 sitting on 3 bases compared to his opponent's 1, well, WFZ's chances are extremely slim. Now, Th000 knows that he does not have to force an engagement. He knows that his opponent will have to try to bring the fight to him at either one of these 2 bases here. He is also currently in high upkeep, sitting at 86 over 100, but he knows that he still has an advantage with 12 gold a second compared to 8. Coming back around here, well, there is a Crypt Fiend ready in position to try and, well, web down any of these Wind Riders if they venture a little bit too close. All right. So far, Spirit Wolves gonna, well, it looks like they were resummoned once again. We're looking at 91 supply, a couple of Wind Riders in the air overhead. Tauren Chieftain does have level 3 Stomp. Even though he got Endurance Aura first, that Stomp is just going to be such a wide radius, and also having some potions of mana. There are a handful of Shaman out here. 4 Shaman. We should be looking at Bloodlusted Wind Riders once more, as the Shadow Wolves are just trying to make their way through, taking quite a bit of damage. There is, well, trying to get a little bit of extra experience, unable to do exactly that. Just resummoning those Spirit Wolves once more. There goes a couple of Bloodlusted Shadow Wolves again. Are they going to be able to fight off anything here? That is the question. The Shade is going to keep track. There's the Destroyers. There's the Frost Nova. Are we going to see a Devour Magic? We did, but it didn't hit the target. All right, this looks like a free-for-all army of Orc. All right, oh, one volley coming in from those Wind Riders, able to pierce the back of the Acolyte, but there's plenty of Acolytes to take the place. WFZ is in a horrible spot right now, as Th000 is starting to sit on a maximum supply army and will be ready to move out here in just a moment. 3-2 upgrade on Wind Riders, War Drums coming in with Endurance Aura and Bloodlust should be fast attack speed on those Wind Riders in just a second here. Shadow Wolves keeping track of if the Orc army is, or sorry, the Undead army going to try and attack the expansion once more, as there are plenty of sentry wards placed down as well. All right, sitting on 98 supply over 100. Shade finally sees, wait, my opponent has another expansion up. He is running up on 3 bases compared to my 1 right now. He needs to find a way to fight. Death Knight. Well, Lich, Crypt Lord, 4-3-3. Things are not looking good. Th000 is already at maximum supply. He does not want to throw this game away, though, as the Shadow Wolves should be able to move on out here in just a second. All right, Tauren Chieftain, no potion of invisibility. Shades have been spotted, or have been doing plenty of scouting already, as the Tauren Chieftain going to try to get into position. Is going to do exactly that. There it is, completely surrounded, and now throws down his foot. Wind Riders are in position as well, trying to finish off many of those units. There goes an Impale onto the Abomination, and here goes the battle. 96 supply compared to 71, fighting on Blight. Bloodlust coming into position here. Tauren Chieftain should be able to get down another stomp here in just a second. Healing Ward also down. There is another stomp as the Crypt Fiends are getting taken out. Plenty of healing to go around as Abominations are getting lost. 92 supply compared to 61. And this battle is pretty much over before it began. Proper positioning, more than enough, as we see Earthquake, well, destroying all of these remaining buildings here. All right, we're still more battling coming across on the other side. There's Healing Wave, level 3 now on the Shadow Hunter. Plenty of healing wards being placed down, and that is the game. Th000 taking out WFZ using blood-lusted Wind Riders and having a superior economy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.